Hey everyone, this is Dustin with Saris Lifting. We're back here at Walmart doing an HVAC changeouts. In this video, I'm going to walk through how to use the deductions tool to get a more accurate estimate of what our crane can do on the day of the job. So we're going to use the deductions tool after we have our crane configured and our job site laid out. We can open up this tool by pressing the Add Deductions button, and this is going to present us with a handful of options. Now for this pick, we are lifting off the main boom as defined by the attachments dropdown. So the first thing it's going to ask is what we're doing with our jib, whether it is stowed or it is absent. In this case, we'll say it's stowed. It'll ask us what stowed jib or extension is on the crane. In this case, these are all going to be the same exact deduction because it's a swing away that folds back into the same unit. So we'll just go with the 36.7 foot luffing. Next, it's going to ask us what we're doing with our auxiliary line, if that is reeved or not. It's assuming that we're using the main line, but we do need to deduct that auxiliary line if it's up there. So we'll say yes or no. Next, the line hanging height. This is how far below the tip of the boom our auxiliary line is hanging. This will help the software calculate how much to deduct for this piece of equipment. Next is the hook block that we're actually using, that we're actually lifting off of. For this crane, we have a handful of hook blocks, but we're going to go with the 1 shiv hook block here for this particular pick. We then select the parts of line that we're using on this pick. We'll go with 2. The software will deduct any excess parts of line from our calculation if it determines that we are well within our line pull limit. Finally, we can just add rigging deductions, other deductions. These are just numbers you add in to accommodate for the rigging that you're using, and anything else such as taglines that is going to be on your load. When we hit done, it runs these calculations, and pressing C details underneath the percent of chart will bring up a window that will tell you exactly what it's deducting. In this case, we have our block deduction, we have the ball deduction from our auxiliary line, the additional part of line on the main line, and the software will assume this is when the hook block is lowered all the way down from the tip to the ground. So it's taking into account that entire distance. Auxiliary line, any jib or extension deductions, rigging, and then other deductions. We can see that our total deductions is 2,300 pounds, takes that off of our gross capacity, and then divides that by the load weight to give us our percent of chart, which is 72.55% in this case. Now, if we are working with a swing away, a jib, we can select this. We're going to offset that by 10 degrees, counterweight, make our crane selections. And the deductions tool is going to look a little bit different. When we bring this up, it's just going to ask us about our main line since it's assuming we are using our auxiliary line when we lift off of the jib. If the main line is not reeved, it keeps it pretty simple. If the main line is reeved, we do have to specify the hook block that is on the end of that main line. How many parts of line are on it, as well as the hanging height below the knuckle between the jib and the main boom. Once that's in, we also add rigging deductions and other deductions, and pressing C details will bring up these calculations for you to see.